Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely Friday morning. So today I wanted to share with you a video that I found interesting from a Ford repair channel. This comes from Ford Tech Macaloco. I'm not much of a car enthusiast myself, nor am I a car repairman, but I sometimes enjoy watching the work of people who are in similar related fields working on different items than the items that I work on. And what really struck me about this video were the similarities between a Ford F150 and a MacBook. And I thought I would go over that in this video. And I highly suggest you watch his video. It is very informative and unfortunate to the customer that wound up paying $5,000 to fix this because of Ford's very interesting design and supply chain here. So what happened with this truck is quite simple. There was water intrusion into the rear taillight. You may think, well, that just means I got to replace my taillight. You know, if it's a normal taillight, a few $100s. If it's a fancy schmancy taillight, maybe $500 or $1,000. But unfortunately, there's more to it than that. So this is an interesting one because the entire car stopped working and had to be towed because of a taillight. Entire car not functioning. Now, the reason for this is in that taillight, there's actually a module for obstacle detection. And that module for obstacle detection speaks to everything on some medium speed CAN bus. And when that module became corroded, that module wound up taking down everything that it speaks to on that bus, including other items that are essential for the car to work. So the obstacle detection may not necessarily be essential for the vehicle to function, but it does talk to other things on the same bus that are essential for that to function. This may remind you of some of the videos that I've done back in the day of a sensor failing on a MacBook and it destroying everything. So on the screen, I have a schematic and a board view for one of the older devices, an A1398 MacBook, and this over here is the webcam connector. Now, the webcam connector has an SM bus data line to the webcam for the ambient light sensor, otherwise known as ALS. This is how the device understands how light the room is so that it knows whether or not to dim your keyboard backlight and dim your screen based on the room lighting. Now, you'll see that this SM bus line also shares a line with the GPU thermal sensor. So if it brings that line down, the computer may think that it is running hot all the time and lower you to 800 megahertz or something even painfully slower, which makes the entire computer painfully and uselessly slow as a result of it not being able to read the sensor. But wait, there's more. You may think that all I have to do is just replace that ambient light sensor and I'm good, right? Well, again, this is a MacBook we're talking about here. So the ambient light sensor is not going to be behind a $5 plastic bezel that comes off with my fingernails. That's going to be behind the LCD screen that is glued into the computer. More importantly, this screen very often breaks when you take it off, and the screen at the time cost anywhere from $200 to $300. I was buying them in bulk for $90, but I was not able to buy them in bulk for $90 for long. And again, there's a very good chance that you're going to break this very difficult, miserable to replace part while going in there. So if somebody had this problem, what I would be telling them is one of two things. Behind door number one, you can be paying $400 for a miserable screen replacement, which I will link to down below for anybody interested in the process, that I can't even do anymore because that part's not available. Or behind door number two, I can unplug your webcam and you go on your merry way and just deal with it. And 99% of the customers would just be happy if I unplugged their webcam, did not charge them any money, and they had a functioning computer again. And this is similar to what happens over here in this case. So again, he has modules that are inside of that tail lamp that are corroded, and those modules are modules that he cannot buy at a These are modules that he cannot get at a reasonable price. Again, the tail lamps are going to be over $1,000 a piece. They do not include the modules of the heat sinks or anything else. And in order to get all of that stuff, it cost over $5,000. Now, you have to think about this at some point. When you look at every single piece of the problem number one, the tail lamps are not decently liquid resistant. That sucks, similar to MacBooks that have no protection against liquid ingress. When there is liquid ingress, you have many parts that are speaking together on one bus that are not necessarily related, so that one that is not essential, like an ambient light sensor, can take down something that is essential, like a GPU temperature sensor, which can render the machine functionally useless. So you have that commonality between the Ford F-150 rugged off-road truck and the latte sipping artist's computer that they use in Starbucks. The third commonality is the difficulty to obtain parts. As I said, this is a pain in the ass to replace, and even if you can replace it, good luck finding this thing anywhere. Same thing here. He had to spend over $300 in locate fees simply to figure out where to buy the module. And the fourth thing is he said many of the connectors were corroded. For all we know, the modules could still be good, but the connectors are corroded, and as a result, we have to replace all this stuff because you cannot easily locate the connectors. So one of the things that I found interesting in watching this channel is that many of the issues that I have when I'm doing MacBook repair are actually similar to the issues that people have when they are fixing rugged, made-to-be off-road trucks that are, again, supposedly, built Ford tough, that literally seem to not be able to handle rainwater in their taillights. The similarities in not only these devices, but also how the repair processes in these devices was very interesting to me. And above all, the defense that I realize I'm going to see in my comment section for it is, Lewis, well, it was designed that way. It's not like they did it on purpose just to make repair difficult. And one of the things that I say on this channel at this point in time is, I'll be honest with you, I don't really care anymore. Whether somebody at the company was going, we are going to make repair difficult for those independents so they buy a new one, or whether they're simply not considering the long-term durability of the product, what's going to happen when an individual device fails, and how that is going to affect the customer, I don't care. Whether it is an issue of malice, which I honestly don't think it is in this case, or it is an issue of ignorance and stupidity that the product is designed in this type of way, I don't care. What I find very interesting is that when you take the sum of all the parts, it creates this whole where there's little protection against liquid ingress. Check. There is all these different devices that talk to each other on the same bus, essential items and non-essential items communicating on the exact same bus so that when the non-essential item gets taken down, it destroys the essential item. Check. These items have parts to them that die, that do not necessitate replacing the entire module, that are not available, that then necessitate you replacing the entire module. Check. You can't find the module when you need it. Check. So like at every single step of this repair, there is the same level of fuckery that we have to deal with when we are trying to fix a MacBook. Again, wasn't designed to be durable. When something is damaged, that thing that is damaged winds up taking down other things that probably should not be sharing a line. When that thing is damaged, I can't fix just the part that's causing the problem. I have to replace entire modules, and when I need to replace entire modules, I can't find them. And this is something that I've talked about on this channel a lot, because many people will say, just don't buy Apple products, just don't buy MacBooks, just don't buy this. If you just don't buy an iPhone, the world will be fine. And the point that I've been trying to get across for a very long period of time is that this culture of not caring about the durability of the items that we purchase, and more importantly, this culture of nobody in the entire design and manufacturing chain thinking about what it would be like to fix this product, is endemic to our society, is an endemic in every single industry, and it sucks. You may think that this is stupid. You may think that somebody that's sipping a latte and has their funny hat on, writing a poem in Starbucks using their MacBook or whatever, is dumb because they bought a MacBook. But it's the exact same mentality that is in place when manufacturing the complete opposite of a MacBook, a Ford F150 rugged truck. And it's going to trickle down into all different types of consumer devices, and dare I say, professional devices as well, as time goes on. Again, I do not believe that any single individual at Ford is sitting there rubbing his hands together saying, we are going to make it more difficult to repair to encourage them to buy a new one. Rather, I think it is a bunch of different departments that just don't care. The person who made the module doesn't really care if the connectors are available. The person who's choosing what that talks on doesn't really care if the non-essential part is talking to the essential part. The person that works in logistics may not really care if this thing's on back order for a while, and none of them may ask how liquid resistant is the enclosure that this is all going into. And I do think 30, 40, or 50 years ago, when the designs were simpler and you had maybe less people or less different departments working on the overall design of something, you could have somebody that had a little bit more of a bird's eye view of everything, thinking about all these things. And I'm not suggesting that we go back to 30 to 50 years ago when a lot of technology that we have now and enjoy didn't exist, but rather I'm suggesting that we move forward and maybe have somebody at these companies that has a little bit of a bird's eye view when these items are being designed, that just has a little bit of thought being put in there. Maybe there's one person in the room thinking about, when this fails, how do you think that's going to happen? Or, when this fails, where are people going to be able to get the stuff that they need to be able to make it work again, so that we can continue to advertise built Ford tough? Just something to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and do check out this guy's channel. It's a pretty cool channel, and I'm enjoying watching the repairs that he performs on Ford trucks. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.